Hi, everyone. It is Siobhan. I'm going live today to continue my Fearless Conversations, promoting my children's book that has been released entitled Fearless. So thank you so much for joining. I'm having a guest today, Miss Christy Staples, and so I'm waiting for her to join with me today. So hope everybody is doing good. It has been such a challenge in Houston with the weather. And so it's so interesting how last week it was snowing and it was raining. And today it is sunny. It's 55 degrees. I'm so grateful that the weather has changed and adapted. And it's just so nice outside right now. And we are in the process of rebuilding and getting water and getting supplies and trying to get back to some type of normalcy and dealing with plumbing concerns and things like that. So this week has definitely been a test of faith. So I'm so excited to hey Christy, I'm so happy to be at home and that everything is in order. So, okay. Hi, Christy. Hi.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
Woo, doing so much better. How about you?
I'm doing good. I was just saying that before you came on that it's so interesting to see how the weather has changed from last week when it was snowing and rainy, and today it's 55 and it's sunny, and there's, out from an outside perspective, you can't tell that there's anything, that happened. It's almost like it's just another winter in Houston. So it's just so crazy to see how the things just change so fast.
Right. That's Houston for you, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Listen, I was just saying before you came that I'm so grateful for we didn't personally sustain a lot of damage, but there are a lot of people in the Houston area who are without basic necessities, water. They sustained damage to their homes. You know what I'm saying? And this week has definitely been a test of our faith. Because it's just been so hard, to deal with not having power, not having lights. We don't live in that kind of environment where we see these things often, so it's definitely been a challenge.
And I think the challenge was not that it happened, but it unexpectedly happened.
Right.
Because all of this was going to happen. So people weren't fully prepared because we didn't have the information. So that's so critical for anybody making a decision, anybody moving. You have to have all of the facts to make an educated decision to be prepared. So I just think it's because we weren't prepared in advance for all that. And so we were like trying to figure it out.
Right. Taking small steps, trying to figure out. So I have friends that live all over the US and they're calling me like, what's going on in Houston? Like, why is there, why are water coming through the walls? Like, what's really going on? Are the houses not built, to sustain? And I'm like, we are not in an environment where we are used to this type of weather. So our homes may not be to the level of insulation that they need to sustain the type of weather that we just experienced this past week. So it was just such a challenge. So I'm so grateful to see you. I'm so grateful that you're in a safe place and that all is well with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on with me. So we are here for a reason. I wrote a children's book entitled Fearless for Girls, and it's to really encourage girls to be fearless in whatever they decide they want to pursue in their life and not allow fear to stop them. And I wrote it really toward my younger self, because there are a lot of opportunities that I had that I did not take because I was scared. I was afraid of how it would turn out, what people may think, whether or not I would succeed or fail in that. And so I reached out to you because I know a little bit of your story of how you kind of walked away from corporate and you walked into being your own entrepreneur. And, taking a step like that there can be a level of fear there and overcoming that. And so I really wanted to reach out to you and to talk to you about how fear impacted your decision, whether it impacted your decision, how you overcame that, and what are some things you can share with other people to let them know how they can overcome fear?
Okay, so for me, let's just be honest. This is the second time I got laid off, right? So it was the second time I got laid off. The first time is when I experienced all of the fear, to the point where I was depressed and I was just paralyzed. I was just, okay, my bill's on auto pay. I'm just gonna stay in this bed and they're gonna get paid, right? And so the first time I experienced all the emotions, all the turmoil, all of the I'm not good enough. Everything that you can imagine with losing a job unexpectedly.
Right.
And so and it was a job that I loved. I loved the pay, and it was just like, okay, time is up here. And it was unexpected. And so that was the fearful time in my life. Now, fast forward to this last time when I got laid off and I transitioned to entrepreneurship. I was wise enough to know that my job was not fulfilling me. And so my job wasn't fulfilling me. I knew that it was just a paycheck. Okay. I wasn't trying to move up the corporate ladder. I was just trying to move departments to try to get to another department that maybe paid more or to give me a new experience because I had that opportunity within the company.
Okay.
I moved to another department and it still wasn't fulfilling. I said, okay, this just ain't it. And so what did I do? I started working on my business while I was still employed. So I call it the employedpreneur. And so I had like my 5 outfits that I wore to work. So there was no guesswork into what I was going to wear to work. I wore the same 5 outfits. Sometimes I might have wore the same pants day after day or whatever I wore to church on Sunday was my Monday outfit because I was putting in time with my business. I got up an hour early to work on my business. So I didn't have that extra time that normal girls get up, do makeup and hair and all that stuff. I was very basic. And I'm not lying. I was very basic because you're going toward my business. I would use my lunch time to go to McDonald's down the street, hook up on their Wi-Fi, work for an hour. The actual place was like far from my house. And so it was like an hour and a half just spent on traffic to get home. So I started stopping at the Starbucks on my way home and I would work until traffic died down. So my fulfillment and my passion, my purpose came outside of work. That's how I was able to make it through the day. And then while I was sitting at work, bored or unhappy, I put in John Maxwell. I put in different things that I listened to that kept my spirit going. I was learning YouTube. I was learning on podcasts, whatever I could get into my ear because I could wear earbuds, even if I just wore one so I could still be alert. I wore those. And so when it came time for me to be laid off and I transitioned, I was like, y'all sure? And it was like, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay. So God, like if this is you, then I want it to happen this way, this way, this way. And everything I asked for, it happened that way. And so, okay, God, this is you.
Yeah.
When I went into the room to sign off and say, this is my last day here, I'm no longer an employee, I was thinking, yes. Now I have more time to go and do work and now I can invoice people. So I already had a book of business going into my business. Okay. And that's the main thing that I would stress to people, that you don't have to put yourself in a fearful situation if you go ahead and start something now while you're doing something else.
Okay. Okay. That is, listen, Christy, I think so many people have been in that situation where they're at a job or they're in a position or something in life that they don't want to be in anymore. And they stay there. You know, I'm sure you've heard of stories of people who stay there because of their responsibilities. And they don't take the chance of stepping out and doing what maybe their heart feels like they want to do because of, I have this responsibility, I have that responsibility, I have children, I have this, I have that, I have a house, I have this and that, you know. So I think it's huge that you were able to walk away, you know, although you were prepared, you know what I'm saying? You were prepared when you walked away so that you could really do something that you found that was deeply fulfilling for you.
But the other part of it too is that I think a lot of people don't walk away because they've already built this lifestyle and they've got accustomed to, you know, this 6-figure lifestyle. They're not willing to start over. I was willing to start over at a rock bottom because I didn't have any kids. You know, I didn't have any other responsibility besides me and my mortgage. And push come to shove, I have an accounting degree. I can go back and get a job. So I'd already thought through worst scenarios. Okay, if I need food, I have friends that will pitch in and give me some food, right? If I need something paid, I could really ask a friend like, hey, can you spot me this month, right? And it came a time when I did have to do that. I said, hey, I'm short. Can you spot me? And they spotted me. And then I ended up paying them back. You know, it took me a while, but I ended up paying them back. But it was because I wasn't afraid to start over. I wasn't, in a position where I was like, well, I have to maintain this type of status because I have this type of car. I have to have this type of clothes and all these type of things. I'm very resourceful. So if that meant, okay, I can go get Starbucks coffee, or the only time I did go to Starbucks when I was meeting with the client, that's what I did. So instead of paying dinners and lunch, no, let's meet at Starbucks. I get you some coffee.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
But again, I think that I applaud you in that, because I think that, again, some people are so afraid to do that. You know what I'm saying? We are so stuck in a certain mindset of, this is the way my life looks. I don't necessarily want to start over. I've been in this career for so long. I've been in this situation for so long. I don't want to walk away from it. But I think that there is power in walking away from it, even if you have to start from the bottom and build your way back up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that your testimony is definitely, an encouragement to people that you can start at the bottom. You can leave it all, let it all go. And I think you posted that earlier on your social media. If you let it go, you can have it all. So when you, let go of what you, in our minds, sometimes we have this expectation of what we expect things to be, and then when they're not that, it takes a bold person to walk away when something is no longer serving you, and to seek that which truly makes you happy.
Because people are afraid to be alone. People are afraid to not live up to the Joneses. People are so afraid of other people's opinion, and I think once you lose that weight that you place on somebody else's opinion and really start digging in and saying, what do I desire? What do I want? Let me get clear on what I want out of life. Because even with me serving at the Found the Praise, I was like, out of all my friends, I'm the one that made the least amount of money, all these different things, right? I'm the one that probably got the most raggedest car out of, the oldest car, what have you. But I chose to live a life of service. Even now, I still live a life of service because I look at my business as ministry and stuff like that. But it wasn't a thing to me. Right? Because they still respected me in the same manner. We still had the same type of relationship. Nothing affected our relationship or our friendship because I had less than them. Because my impact was the offset. The favor that I have was the offset. So just because it wasn't in my bank account doesn't mean that somebody didn't pay for our meal or our lunch or grab our coffee, because it was me and they knew who I was. Right? So it's like, are you willing to really trust that this is what you're supposed to be doing and that God got you? Because you don't see the next step. You don't see the step until you put your foot out there.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's faith, though.
And then I think the other part is, like, really, God wants us to trust him, even on a job that you got a paycheck coming every 2 weeks. They can be behind your name, scandalizing, lying on you. I mean, but it's always a trust. So it isn't until we really fully into entrepreneurship that people really like, oh, I got to trust the Lord. I got to trust him for my next client. You got to trust him for the next paycheck.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you see what happened with Corona. You see what happened with even the storm. Like, you got to trust him.
That's right.
Really it doesn't get clear to them until they're in a situation where it's like, okay, my safety net is gone, which is a so the fear isn't there because you're like, okay, I got this paycheck coming, I got this insurance coming, I know my stuff on here. But what if something jacks up at the bank?
Absolutely.
Raw in the amount of your paycheck and stuff. That's not something that you can you can't do nothing about that.
Correct.
That bank give you money back.
Correct. We can't control it. And I think that's the thing. We, as people, we want to control the outcome. We want to control the variables, but we can't always control it. And I think that is what builds your faith, to trust God, the Lord. I don't know the variables. I don't know the outcome, but I trust that this is somehow going to work out. Now, I have to go back to something that you just said. You talked about your story with your girlfriends and how, you were serving under co-pastor Mia. The question is, were you always at that place of faith, Christy, or was there a specific thing in your life that you felt moved you to that place where you were, trusting God on a greater level and that you were more fearless? Were you always at that point, or was there some specific event or that led you to that place where your faith was built up stronger so that you were able to, move through those challenging times a little bit easier?
Nope. That when I started serving at the Found the Praise, and most people don't know this, but I was at my lowest point in life. I just had to resign from my government job because I had, they had charged me. Like I had charges. Yeah. I had to resign. So I was at my lowest point. I'm going back and forth to court. I'm going back and forth trying to fight this case and different things. And people don't know the hell that I was going through while I was serving.
Wow.
I told Pastor them, they knew,
Yeah.
but my testimony was I was at my lowest.
Mm-hmm.
So me getting up and going to serve kept me out of depression. Serving kept me out of poverty. Serving kept me in my home. Serving kept me going forward every day and every Sunday because I saw something greater. I knew it was so much more than me because God used me to strengthen my mother's faith.
Yeah, that's so
He
good.
strengthened everybody's in my family faith that knew what was going on with me. They're like, how that girl still getting up, going to church and all this stuff? So instead of me falling on drugs, sex, alcohol, whatever coping mechanism most people use, I fell on the Lord.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm getting up serving every day, every week after week. And people,
I think that when you do that, you come out stronger, Christy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so easy to serve when the sun is shining and everything is great, and you have this, you have that. But I think it takes a certain level of faith for you to serve when you are at your lowest point, and also to serve with the right heart. Because Christy, we can serve, but I think there's a difference when you're serving with the right motive and the right heart. I think those are things that God sees that people don't necessarily see, but as our motivation, you know what I'm saying? And how we do what we do and why we do what we do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's huge, and so when you can serve at your lowest point, it's like there's nothing you can do from here but go up, because it takes so much out of you to serve when everything is not sunny. You know what I'm saying?
Because it takes away your pride, your ego, everything on to that you think got you to this point. Like, Lord, I'm just leaning trust on you. I'm leaning trust on you that I got gas to get to church, that I got clothes, that I have something to eat, that I'm gonna get to that next, to whatever my next is, and I'm just trusting that we're gonna beat this thing. And it was so much more bigger than me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's beautiful how you're able to impact your family and build their faith because they knew the behind the scenes. Anyone who may have seen you, in the foyer would never have known me. Like I'm saying, for me, for example, because you were always smiling and waving. So I would have never known the background of the struggle. And I think it's beautiful when people don't necessarily know the background of what's going on and they can still see you having a heart of service, a heart of wanting to encourage other people and support other people, especially when you're down, when you're in a hard time. So I have some questions for you. I'm gonna put you in the hot seat.
Okay.
And whatever you want to say, I can't wait to hear it. And I'm gonna try not to over talk because I'll just be talking. So I'm gonna try to just let you go and just answer all the questions. Okay, so when is a time in your life, and I think you may have already answered this, but there may be a separate time that you ever felt the most afraid, and why?
Oh, you know what? I probably feel the most afraid right now because I'm really recognizing that I'm long overdue for my breakthrough, that I've been behind long. And so now I'm really getting out. And right now I'm getting ready to do my first virtual summit. And so just thinking about me being on the forefront, me being the person that's speaking and all these different things. Like, I'm so afraid, but I don't care. I'm just going to do it.
Hey, that's what I love to hear. Even in the midst of fear, go ahead and do it. That's I love it. Okay. So what do you think is the thing that is your fear factor? Is there any particular thing or situation that you feel like it automatically prompts that rapid heart rate, automatically prompts you feeling afraid?
You know what? I think for me is if I feel like I disappointed one of my clients or somebody, or they don't love it. And I'm like, wait a minute, we love this, right? And like, so that's when it's like that fear factor kicks in because I want to get it right the first time.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So I love that. So fear will make you elevate your game. You know what I'm saying? If somebody if you present something and they can no, it can make you elevate your game. So a previous guest I had on my show was saying that they use fear to help as a pivot to move them forward. And I think that's so true, especially in what you just said in your case, that you can use fear to make it even, to take it up even higher than what it already is. So I love that. Okay. So how has being fearful impacted your most important decisions in your life, and why? Or how has fear impacted your life decisions?
Fear. Okay. So fear, a couple of missed opportunities, right? A couple of, because I was so fearful. I didn't know how it was going to work out, and you just kind of drag your feet for so long that you miss out.
Yeah.
And that's just real.
And Christy, I have been there too. I have too many opportunities have come before me, and I was like, I don't know,
Mhm.
I'm not sure, well, what if, and I
Easy. Like it feels too easy. Like there's no push or pull on it. It's just so easy. Like it can't be right.
and it could have been right.
Yep. Yep.
But I think that the good thing in that is learning that even if I don't know even if I don't know how it's going to work out, how it's going to end, it's still worth it to take that opportunity. Because
Mhm.
that's the thing. I feel like even if it's something that we're not sure, we feel like we don't have the credentials to do it. Even if we jump, God is still there. He is still there if we jump. So regardless of the outcome, he's still going to catch us. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And still allow it to work out for our good anyway.
Mhm. Exactly.
So, okay. So is there a specific opportunity you did not take because you were afraid? And how
Oh,
would you have handled it differently?
oh, different jobs. Like different jobs that I should have just really
Mm,
went after because they even did a study on this. They were like, it's more people that will apply for a $50,000 job than $100,000 job, right? So I
mm.
should have went after bigger jobs when I was in the workforce.
Okay. 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 Now, how have you, and this is huge because you said you're going to do it afraid. So I think you might already answer this. How have you overcome or how are you overcoming fear in your life? And this
Oh,
is from not only professionally, but in all areas of your life. If there's an area of your life outside of professionally that you are overcoming fear, how are you doing that?
by having an accountability partner and talking it through.
Okay.
That's the best saver for me. So it's hey, this is what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm doing. This is what I desire to do, but I'm scared. I'm scared that, and you just walk through all the feelings and emotions and the things that you're telling yourself. That's like, okay. That's a excuse.
Yeah.
Okay, this is playing off of this. Okay, yeah, you stupid because you talking about craziness right now. You have everything that you need inside of you. Like, okay, so you have to have that outside voice that
Yeah.
tells you that hey, you're not stupid for wanting to do this,
Mhm.
and so just do it because right now you're just giving yourself a bunch of excuses.
Yeah, I think it's so good to have a tribe, to have people who challenge you and who encourage you to go further than you even think that you can go. Sometimes we can kind of limit ourselves and our capability and what we can do, and it's always great because sometimes people outside you can see, yo, I see you can do that. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's always great when you have that support and people to kind of push you forward and let you know that hey, you can do this. If it's something God put on your heart, you can do it. You
Mm-hmm.
can totally do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the message you would tell younger Christy about fear?
Oh, I would tell younger Christy, get over it. Get over yourself. If you need some resources, if you need a plan of action, put it together and just go do it. I would rather fail forward than to fail stagnant and just be procrastinating.
Hold on, Christy. Hold on. You got to pause right there. You said you would rather fail forward than
Mm-hmm.
remain stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a word.
Mm-hmm.
That is a word. And I think that, and I spoke about this with Dr. Gregory, that oftentimes we're afraid to fail and
Yeah.
that fear of failure will keep us from not doing something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Will keep us
Mm-hmm.
back, but it's worth it to just try. Even if you fail, you learned a lesson. So I always say you don't lose. I don't lose. I learn.
Exactly. Exactly.
So even if it's something that others may consider to be a loss, there was a learning in the midst of whatever it is that I may have potentially lost in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So last question on the hot seat. How would you define being fearless?
Being fearless is getting over yourself and going after the life that you really want. Like you have
Yes.
to get over yourself.
Yeah.
That's the fearful part because you're looking at other people's opinions and you're looking at your family, what they want you to do. It's like stop living out other people's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you want to do. And
Mm-hmm.
then don't and just dismiss all the naysayers, dismiss all of the opinions that you put so much weight on outside of yours. Like put the weight on your opinion.
That's so good. That is so good. That's so good. So I said this last question. I have one more question for you, Christy. One more question. Um, if you could tell a young lady in a kid, a young girl, fifth grade, eighth grade, 10th grade, about fear and how to overcome it and what she can do, what would you tell her? What would you say?
I would just tell her to really get excited about life and
Mm-hmm.
figure out what she really is drawn to
Mm-hmm.
and just immerse yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you immerse yourself in the things of whatever you want, it's like you get tunnel vision. You don't hear what other people saying. You don't even know what's going on because you so into your thing that you just perfecting it. You just really in it. You really talking about it. All these things, like, just get into what you want to do. Like, I think at that age you're so pure that you don't know what's right or wrong. You just know what you're drawn to. And so that's why I even tell parents that if they have a child that's drawn to something, like, get involved with it with them. Go to the store, pick out the stuff with them, get into classes and just really nurture it, because it can really blow up. Because everything that we're doing is stuff that we had in us at 8, 9, 10, and 11 years old. Ain't nothing new. We're just going back to our childhood when we were pure.
Before we let other people and what they thought, and you know, I should do this degree, I should do that, before we let those things get in the way, just the things that are such interest to us, those are the things that we should pursue wholeheartedly. So let me just go a little bit, tell you about my book, and then I'm going to release you so you can go ahead and continue conquering the world and being a brand marketing strategist for faith-based ministries. So I wrote this book because I was a fearful girl. Again, there were so many opportunities that I had that I did not take because I was afraid of what people thought, of what people would say, of how it would look. And I want to empower, and I have a niece, and my book is dedicated to my niece, but even to younger girls than my niece, that don't let fear stop them. Use fear as a motivator to do whatever it is God may have placed on your heart to do. To don't allow anything to stop you. You know, even if it hasn't been done before. I think sometimes that's also a conversation. Well, I've never seen it done before in my family, you know, or none of my family have traveled outside of the United States, or, you know what I'm saying? I've never worked abroad. So even just not having a physical representation of what I want to see, that can even make you fearful and kind of shrink back and not live in the fullness of whatever it is you want to do. You know, so that was my purpose in writing my book. That is who I'm targeting, young girls, 8 to 12, you know, just with some affirmations to let them know that, hey, you can do it. God is on your side. He loves you. He wants the best for you. He wants to see you thrive and be excellent. And I'm just using this book as a reminder. So
congrats. Kudos to you. That is a perfect age group to be addressing, and
thank you.
Keep that fear out of them.
Thank you. That's it. So they can go on and continue to do great things, even greater than what we are attempting to do in our own respective areas of influence.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Chrissy, for joining me with me today. I just so appreciate you. This was a wonderful conversation. Y'all, if you are in a faith-based business or you need a brand media strategist, look out for Chrissy Staples. She is definitely someone who can help and assist you on your journey. Thank you, Chrissy. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.